Working at 3 different theme parks, interviewing for the job at all 3 was definitely different each time and a unique experience. Here's what it was like to interview at Busch Gardens, Walt Disney World, and Silver Dollar City. I loved my time working at theme parks, and it was interesting even getting the jobs, how different just interviewing and applying was for each one of the 3. All 3 were unique experiences. Busch Gardens wasn't anything at all like applying at Disney or Silver Dollar City, and even Disney and Silver Dollar City had a lot of differences as well. Now, in all 3 of these cases, they were really before the internet had taken place, and while the internet did exist in all cases, it did not play the role that it does now. So my experiences trying to get my jobs and applying is going to be very different than if you applied now. With all 3 companies, if you go to apply now, you're going to have to do it all through the internet and through email and online applications, and very possibly even do your interview through the internet. But at the time, it was all different. Busch Gardens was the very first theme park I had ever applied to. I was teaching in Tampa, just south of the city. We actually had Busch Garden passes for the whole family at the time. Loved the park and thought, hey, what a fun weekend job and a stress relief when I'm teaching. So at the time, the way that you got the job was you would actually call the office, find out if there were openings, and set an appointment. So I set an appointment one day, drove up to the office with a copy of my resume, walked in, and gave them my resume, gave them my name, let them know that I was there for a job interview and application. They handed me the application. I sat down in the office and filled it out. That's the one thing that's kind of common with all 3, is you filled out the application on the spot. Finished filling it out, tucked my resume in, and handed it up to the window. Waited in this nice waiting room, nothing particularly special or noticeable about it. They called my name, went in, and I did my job interview. Part of the job interview, well, where do you want to work? Well, hey, my first place I'd love to work is Rhino Rally, and then there's the others as well. And that's where they had the opening. And basically, a pretty straightforward job interview. Wasn't anything notable that it was unique or different about it. It felt pretty similar to when I had gone in for job interviews in other places, whether it was teaching or working at a grocery store or several other jobs I did. Made an appointment, walked in, handed my resume, filled out the application, did an interview, and hey, we were good to go. So Busch Gardens wasn't so unique in that regard. Disney, however, was a very different story. Now, Disney, I had actually seen an ad in the newspaper. Yeah, remember those? Want ads in the newspaper? And responded to this ad, had called the phone number they had, and set an appointment for casting. From there, it was a little different. See, when you apply to Disney World and you go to the casting office, they set you up as soon as you park your car for a whole different experience. You walk into the casting building through double doors, and as you walk in, you immediately start up a slow, long ramp. You go up a little bit, and then you make a left turn and go up this other long ramp. There's a desk right in the middle of it, and you stop there and let them know, hey, my name is George. I'm here for an interview. Okay, got you on our list. Here's the application. Now, with Disney, you could not take the application and leave. You had to fill it out on the spot there. Little more strict on that than other parks were. No problem though, I had brought a copy of my resume, and isn't it amazing how many things on the application are just like on the resume? They hand that to you, you finish walking up the ramp there, and there's a large room there that's semi-dimly lit, bright enough for you to see. They had Disney movies playing on TVs in the room. They had a few tables in the middle of the room so you could sit down and fill out your applications. And then along the sides, they had padded benches and kind of little nooks that you could sit in while you waited. So you sit down first at the table and you fill out the application. I brought my resume, as I said. I also brought along a number of pictures I had printed off as a small portfolio because I knew I was applying for PhotoPass. And I wanted to let them see that I could actually take pictures that would look decent of guests in the park. And here were some pictures I had taken of me and my family and friends at parks. Got it all filled out, went back to the desk, handed it to them. And they said, okay, take a seat and enjoy. They gave me a couple other pieces of information to read. And so I then walked back up into this huge waiting room. and watched a couple of videos of what it was like to work at the park and whatever movie they had on, read the information and waited. And eventually they called me in. Now what I did not realize was from the time I walked through the double doors and that whole time I was actually on camera. And they're actually watching you to even see how smiling, how happy you're going to be, and watching over everything that you do there. Even from the moment you're in the door, it's all building this atmosphere of what it is to be at Disney. And they want to see immediately if you were going to fulfill that role. So when you're in the park, are you going to be happy and interactive and everything? And there's a lot of people that don't get past that. If they don't look happy when they're walking in for an interview, well, they're probably not going to be happy in the park, and sorry. And so it was very interesting to be able to do that, then go into the interview, some similarities with a regular interview, and then talking more about the photography, my pictures, what I want to do, what I enjoy doing, and had a good interview. Busch Gardens, I was told that day that I had the job. Disney, I had to wait a few days, and they finally called me back. I want to say it was like 4 days later, told me that they wanted me to come in and do a background check, and that was probably clear, but after the background check was all done, then I would be able to officially be hired. So a little different, again, all about the atmosphere at Disney. Silver Dollar City, on the other hand, was again different. For Silver Dollar City, I actually went to a job fair before the park opened for the year. So it was like 3 or 4 weeks, I think, before the park opened. I was looking for a part-time job. Hey, it's down the road, it'd be fun, I've done theme parks, we could do this. So I actually was planning on applying to work on a roller coaster. Now, my wife and daughter also went in with me. They were applying to work during the summer. And it was a big job fair, every opening you could think of. And they're doing immediate park openings, they're doing mid-season, they're doing summer work, all sorts of stuff. Now they don't really do the job fairs like that. Now you've got to go through all the online process through the internet and the website in order to be able to get in an appointment to go to the job fair. Then it was just walk in. So all 3 of us walked in and applied. My wife and daughter for summer, me for immediate work, working on a roller coaster. I'm thinking Wildfire or Powder Keg because that would be fun. Well, after you fill out your application, again on the spot, turn it in at the table where they take them, they send the applications to the different departments who are all out there doing screening interviews. And they call your name and you get to sit down with somebody from that department. And they're just basically giving a very quick impression. Okay, who are you? What do you like? What do you want to do? Why are you here? Do we think you can work? Do you know that these are the requirements and this is what we're going to need? And so as I sat down at the screening interview, and that was going well, and he looks at me and he says, so I can see you put down roller coaster. Have you thought about the train though? Because you're kind of an animated personality. Well, I knew what the train was, I thought. And well, that would be fun. I'd love it. But isn't the train entertainment because you're out there putting on a show? Nope, the train is actually attractions. And that's what you're applying for with the roller coaster is attractions. Oh, okay. Well, what kind of openings are on the train? Well, we've got a full-time and a part-time, and we need somebody before the season starts. Now, one of my conditions was I still needed Sundays off because I was traveling around speaking at churches and doing things like that. And he says, well, I don't know if they can do that. You'll have to talk to them with the interview. But I'll put it forward, drop you into the train batch. We'll give you a call. And so I went and sat down and waited for my wife and my daughter and for my name to get called for my second interview. While I'm waiting, I just sat there and started to think, So for the train, not only am I doing the interview, I've got to do a little bit of a tryout that's going to be part of it. They need somebody. Now, the Sundays might be an issue, but you know what? I'm going to make such an impression on them that they're going to want me so bad that they'll be willing to work around the Sundays. And just kind of spend about 15, 20 minutes going, train would be cool to, not only do I want the train really bad, but I'm going to make sure they want me really bad. So I got called up for the second interview, left my wife and daughter there, and went on down to talk to one of the supervisors who's over the train. And I still remember the whole interview with JJ. Had a good interview, and I actually told him at one point when we talked about the Sundays, he says, well, I don't know if we can do Sundays, but we need you for the beginning of the season if you work. I says, I'm going to be so good, you're going to be willing to work around the Sunday thing because you're going to really want me. And I can still remember him kind of looking at me going, yeah, okay, we'll see. And he hands me the script, which is basically the intro spiel for In the Station. Lets me read it over once or twice. Says, okay, so let's see what you think and what you would deliver. I don't know if you've heard them do this or not, but go for it. Okay. And so basically reading off of this, I'm immediately trying to get into character. Now, folks, we got just 2 safety rules for you here on the train. First, we want to make sure you don't pull that orange pull cord, because if you pull that cord for anything but a real emergency, And I just kind of launched into this whole thing as well as I could do it. And I could just kind of watch JJ going, wow, this would be pretty good. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm having a ball doing it. Long story short, let's just say I nailed the interview. That by the time I was done, JJ was looking, okay, I've got 2 openings. I'm going to find a way to get you in the one. We're going to manage to work this out. And I actually ended up on opening weekend as their 4th guy. Had gone in Silver Dollar City expecting to be working on a roller coaster and left working on the train, which was an awesome way to end the interview. Disney, I walked in hoping for a photography job, and within a week, I was signed on as a photographer. And with Busch Gardens, walked in to apply for Rhino Rally and left that day with the job. All a little bit different in atmosphere, but all successful opportunities for me. And love the way that it all worked out. So there's my stories of applying for a job. I know it's really different at all 3 now. Now you have to log in through the website and send them emails and contacts and all sorts of stuff that way. And, I don't know if I'll ever do a park again, so I don't know if I'll ever figure out exactly how it works now. But if I do ever apply, I know that's where you go first, is go to the websites. Disney, I believe, is careers.disney.com or jobs.disney.com. And Silver Dollar City, you can actually go to the regular website and look at the top for the link that says careers or jobs. So you can find the options to look for jobs on all of them that way and get started in the process. But I love my time, and hey, great memories of interviewing. I hope you learned a little something, and who knows, maybe I'll help you interview for a job later on. I'd love to hear your stories as well. Please don't forget to share them in the comments below. Don't forget to share this video as well. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hey, hit the button and make sure you hit the bell so you're notified anytime I've got a new video. Huge shout out to my patrons for your financial support. By the time you're watching this, I'm going to be at Disney World. Thanks to them helping me out, and my patrons have made that trip possible. So thank you so much. If you want to know more about Patreon and supporting me, check that link below in the description, as well as links to my fan page, the groups, Reddit, Discord, merchandise, and all sorts of other stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and God bless. If you want to know whenever I have a new video out, well, hey, make sure you hit that button right there and subscribe. If you want to see another video right now, well, I've got a great one right here for you. And if you want to be like these wonderful people here and help support me financially on Patreon, well, check out that link right there and it'll take you to it. Thanks so much, and God bless.